Hey, welcome to Imagine BL Story. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really encourages my work and helps me bring you more stories. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy today's story. If you asked anyone on campus about Leon Martinez and Ren Nakamura, they tell you the same thing. Oh, those two? They're best friends. Inseparable since freshman year. And they wouldn't be wrong. But if you asked our closest friends, the ones who'd watched us for 3 years now, you'd get a different story. Sora would raise an eyebrow and say, "Those two are like an old married couple." Mika would lean in conspiratorially and whisper, "I bet something is going on between them." And honestly, they were right too. Well, not about the secretly dating part, but about the something going on. Yeah. Something was definitely going on. Like right now, for instance. Leon. Ren's voice came out breathless as I pinned him against my bedroom wall. My hands tangled in that dark hair I'd memorized every strand of. His fingers gripped my shirt, pulling me closer even as he tried to speak. "Your roommate. Is it practice?" I murmured against his neck, feeling his pulse jump under my lips. "Won't be back for another hour." This was what we did. What we'd been doing for over a year now. And every single time, I told myself the same lie. This didn't mean anything. It was just physical. Just what happened when two people were this close, this comfortable with each other. But even as I thought it, Ron was kissing me back with an intensity that made my chest ache, and I could feel my heart hammering so hard I was surprised he couldn't hear it. His hands slid up into my hair, tugging just the way he knew I liked, and I pressed harder against him, needing to eliminate every inch of space between us. "Leon," he breathed again, and the way he said my name, like it was a prayer and a plea all at once, made something dangerous stir in my chest, something I refused to name. I silenced whatever he was going to say with another kiss. Deeper this time, claiming, possessive, the kind of kiss that was definitely not casual, not friendly, not any of the things we pretended this was. Footsteps in the hallway shattered the moment like glass. I sprang back so fast I nearly tripped over my own feet. Ren's chest was heaving, his lips swollen, his shirt wrinkled where my hands had been fisted in it. We stared at each other for exactly 2 seconds before training kicked in. By the time my roommate Jake opened the door, we were sitting on opposite ends of the couch, controllers in hand, the very picture of casual friendship. "What's up?" Jake barely glanced at us as he grabbed a water bottle from the mini-fridge. "Just destroying Ren at Mario Kart," I said, and my voice came out so steady I almost believed my own performance. Ren shot me a look that said liar, but he played along. "In your dreams, Martinez. I'm up by 3. Jake laughed, already heading back out. Sure. Don't stay up too late, you two." The second the door closed, I felt the weight of Ren's stare. I didn't look at him. Couldn't. Because if I did, I'd want to cross that distance again, pull him back into my arms, and we both knew we couldn't keep doing this. Couldn't keep pretending this was normal, that this was what best friends did. The silence stretched between us like a wire pulled taut, ready to snap. "Leon, want to actually play?" I interrupted, keeping my eyes fixed on the TV screen. I could feel his gaze burning into the side of my face, but I didn't turn. After a long moment, Ren picked up his controller. "Yeah, sure." We played 3 rounds in silence. I won all of them because Ren was distracted, and I knew I was being a coward, but naming what kept happening between us felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. One wrong word and everything shattered. Later that week, we were at lunch with our entire friend circle, Sora, Mika, Jake, and a few others from our program. It was crowded and loud, the kind of chaotic energy that usually made me feel alive. But today, I was hyper-aware of Ren sitting beside me, our thighs pressed together under the table because there wasn't enough room. "I swear to God," Mika said through a mouthful of sushi. "You two are basically married. You finish each other's sentences. You have a standing Friday movie night." Leon still has Ren's sweatshirt from 2 years ago. 3 years, Sora corrected with a smirk. "The gray one with the hood." I felt heat creep up my neck. "It's comfortable, okay? And Ren doesn't want it back. Because you've worn it so much, it probably smells more like you than him at this point," Jake added helpfully. Everyone laughed, and I forced myself to join in. "Nah, man, we're just close. You guys are reading way too much into this. See? Easy. Just laugh it off. It's what we always do." But beside me, I felt Ren tense. His leg pressed harder against mine as he fake laughed along. Sora was watching us with those sharp, knowing eyes of his. "Aha, sure. Speaking of relationships, Leon, what's the deal with that girl Sophie?" She's been asking about you. My stomach dropped. What? Yeah, Sophie Lynn from the psychology department? She's been coming around asking if you're single. Mika grinned. She's really cute. You should give her a shot. I felt Ren go completely still beside me. I didn't dare look at him. I'm not interested, I said too quickly. Why not? Sora pressed. When's the last time you actually dated anyone? Just not looking for anything right now, I said, forcing casualness into my tone. The conversation shifted mercifully to someone else's drama. But Ren's leg had moved away from mine. The loss of contact felt like ice water in my veins. That night, Ren showed up at my apartment at 12 a.m. I wasn't asleep, so I saw the text immediately. Ren, can I come over? I texted back. Doors unlocked. 20 minutes later, there was a soft knock before Ren let himself in. He looked wrecked, hair disheveled, eyes haunted, wearing sweatpants and my old band t-shirt that he'd definitely stolen months ago. He didn't say anything, just stood there in my doorway looking at me like I was the only solid thing in a world that was spinning too fast. This is the problem. This right here. When he does something like this, why do I let him? Why does seeing him like this make me want to fix everything, protect everything, keep him close, and never let go? But even as the thoughts raced through my mind, I was already pulling him inside, already pressing my lips to his like he was the only oxygen I needed to breathe. And maybe that was the real issue. I'd become dependent on this, on him, on the feeling of Ren in my space, in my bed, in my life. We barely made it to the bedroom. His hands were everywhere. My hair, my chest, sliding under my shirt with a desperation that matched my own. I walked him backward until his knees hit the mattress, and we fell together in a tangle of limbs and unspoken words. Needed this? Ren whispered against my mouth. Needed you. The words sent electricity down my spine. I should have asked him what was wrong, why he'd shown up at midnight looking like the world was ending. But I didn't, because asking meant talking, and talking meant facing truths neither of us was ready for. So instead, I poured everything I couldn't say into the way I touched him. Into the way I mapped every inch of his skin like I was memorizing scripture. Into the way I held him after, when we were both breathless and tangled together in sheets that smelled like us. Ren's head was on my chest, my hand stroking through his hair absently. Felt domestic, like we'd done this 1,000 times and would do it 1,000 more. The weight of him against me felt right in a way that terrified me. We should probably talk about this, Ren whispered into the darkness. My entire body went rigid. No talking. Talking ruins everything. Talking makes it real. Hey, I murmured, tilting his chin up so I could kiss him again, softer this time. We don't need to name it, Ren. This works. We work. Why complicate it? The words were meant to be reassuring, but even to my own ears, they sounded like a warning, like I was drawing a line in the sand and daring him to cross it. The words were meant to be reassuring, but even to my own ears, they sounded like a warning, like I was drawing a line in the sand and daring him to cross it. Ren pulled back slightly, his eyes searching mine in the dim light. Why complicate it? Then, this is complicated. We're lying to everyone. We're lying to ourselves. How is that not complicated? It's not a lie, I said defensively. We're best friends who what? Ren interrupted, his voice gaining strength. Who occasionally sleeps with each other. Is that what you were going to say? I flinched at the crudeness of it. That's not. Then what is it? Ren sat up fully now, putting distance between us. Because I need to know, Leon. I need to know what this is to you. What am I to you? Panic clawed at my throat. This was exactly what I'd been avoiding. The conversation that would force me to choose between the safety of denial and the terrifying vulnerability of truth. You're my best friend, I said, and I heard how hollow it sounded. Right? Ren's laugh was bitter. Your best friend who you kiss and touch and hold like a lover. Your best friend who you won't acknowledge in public beyond casual friendship. That's not fair, isn't it? Ren's eyes were blazing now. Tell me, Leon. If Sophie asks you out, what are you going to say? The question hit like a physical blow. What? Sophie, the girl who's been asking about you. What are you going to tell her when she asks you out? I'm going to say no because I'm completely in love with you, you idiot. But the words stuck in my throat, because saying them out loud would make everything real. And real things could break. I don't know, I said instead. The hurt that flashed across Ren's face was worse than any physical pain I'd ever felt. You don't know. He repeated flatly. Ren. No, that's actually perfect. Ren was getting dressed now, movements jerky with anger. That tells me everything I need to know. Wait. Don't. I reached for him, but he pulled away. Don't what, Leon? Don't leave? Don't ask for more than you're willing to give? Don't want something real instead of the secret we keep in the dark? Something inside me snapped. All the fear, frustration, and love I'd been shoving down for months came pouring out. You want to talk about what's real? I stood, facing him. Okay, fine. I'm in love with you, Ren. Have been for over a year. I think about you constantly. Can't breathe when you're not around. The thought of you with anyone else makes me want to break things. Real enough for you. Ren froze, shirt half-buttoned, staring wide-eyed. But you know what terrifies me? My voice broke. If I admit it, if we make this real and name it, it becomes something that can end. Something that can shatter. And losing you would destroy me, Ren. Completely. So yeah, I'm a coward. I'd rather have you like this, in the dark, than risk losing you completely. Silence. You think keeping me in the dark is keeping me? Ren's voice was soft, devastating. Leon, you're already losing me. Every day you refuse to claim us, you push me further away. Then what do you want from me? I asked desperately. You want me to announce we're together in front of everyone? Risk everything. I want you to risk something, Ren shouted. Anything, but you won't. You won't even try. So maybe I should just save us both the trouble and walk away. Maybe you should, I said coldly, defensively. Go find someone who can give you what you want. Someone like Tao. Someone who's not terrified of what this means. Tao Jun, the art major who'd been hanging around Ren for weeks. I'd seen them at the library, at coffee shops, laughing over sketches and inside jokes I wasn't part of. Sora mentioned Tao had asked Ren out last week. Ren hadn't answered yet, but I'd seen how Tao looked at him, how Ren smiled at Tao's texts. They were getting close. Close enough that his name felt like a weapon I was using to push Ren away before he could leave on his own. The look on Ren's face, betrayal, hurt, rage, would haunt me forever. You're right, he said quietly, finishing his buttons. Maybe I should. He walked to the door. I stood frozen, unable to move, unable to take back the words that had destroyed everything. At the door, Ren paused. Without turning, he said, For what it's worth, Leon, I'm in love with you too. But I guess that's not enough for you to be brave. The door closed with a soft click that sounded like the end of the world. Hey guys, enjoying the story so far? Then drop a comment if you think Leon's fear is completely irrational. Or click the subscribe button if you think Ren is right for putting an end to it and walking away. See you in the comments section. Alright, let's continue. I didn't sleep that night. I replayed the conversation over and over, each word cutting deeper. I'd finally told him the truth, that I loved him, but in the worst possible way. In anger, in fear. And then I'd told him to leave. God, I am such an idiot. The biggest idiot who ever lived. By morning, I'd rehearsed 100 apologies. To call him, go to his apartment, wait for his class, tell him everything. I was walking to campus, phone ready, when Sora called. Leon. His voice was wrong, tight, scared. Where are you? Walking to campus. Why? It's Ren. He had an accident last night. Memorial Hospital. You need to get here now. The world stopped. What? A car hit him while crossing the street. Around 3 a.m. 3 a.m. An hour after he left. An hour a friend told him to find someone else. Panic gripped me like a vice, squeezing until I couldn't breathe. I don't remember the cab ride. Don't remember running through emergency doors or finding Sora and Mika. Only the doctor's words. He's stable. Significant head trauma, but he'll survive. However, there's memory loss. We won't know the extent until he's fully awake. Memory loss. This is my fault. If I hadn't pushed him away, he wouldn't have been walking alone at 3 a.m. They let us see him one at a time. I stood frozen in his doorway. Ren looked small in the hospital bed, bandages around his head, machines beeping. But he was awake. Hey! I said softly, stepping closer. My hands shook as I reached out to touch him. How are you feeling? Ren looked at me, really looked, and I saw my world end. I'm sorry, he said politely. Do I know you? The floor dropped. My chest cracked open. Ren, it's me. Leon. Leon. He said my name like he was trying to place it. Like a stranger from a party he couldn't quite remember. I'm sorry, the doctor said I might have memory issues. You're a friend from school. The school. Not the best friend. Not the person who knew him better than anyone. Not the person who'd memorized every expression, every sound, every way he liked to be touched. Not the person he'd loved hours ago. A stranger. Yeah, I heard myself say. From school. Just focus on getting better. I left before he could see me break. Before the tears could fall. Before I could beg him to remember. In the hallway, Sora grabbed my arm. Leon, what happened? He doesn't remember me. My voice sounded hollow, like something vital had been carved out. At all. Then I broke. Completely. Hard, wrenching sobs shook my body. He looked at me like I was nobody. I choked out. Like the last 3 years never existed. Like I never existed. Sora held me while I fell apart in that hospital hallway. This was what I'd feared all along, losing him. But not like this. He didn't remember loving me. He didn't remember me at all. Over the next days, the extent became clear. Ren remembered childhood, family, friends, Sora, Mika, Jake, everyone. Classes, professors, and his favorite coffee shop. But me? Nothing. Not our friendship. Not our movie nights. Not the first kiss. Not the year we'd spent tangled in the dark. I'd been erased completely. The doctors said it might be temporary. Memories could return gradually, all at once, or never. Never. The word haunted me. What if he never remembered? What if I'd pushed him so hard that even his mind had let me go? 2 weeks later, Ren was released from the hospital. Our friends rallied around him, catching him up on classes, filling memory gaps. And Tao was there. Apparently, when Tao had asked Ren out the week before the accident, Ren had said he'd think about it. Now, with no memory of why he'd hesitated, Ren said yes. I watched it happen. Watched Tao bring Ren coffee. Watched them study together. Watched Tao make him laugh. Watched Ren fall for someone else while having no idea he'd already given his heart away. You should talk to him, Sora said, cornering me in the library. Tell him the truth about what you two were. Were what? I asked hollowly. Best friends who occasionally hooked up? That'll just confuse him. You were more than that, and you know it. Maybe, but he doesn't. I closed my textbook. And maybe that's for the best. Leon. He's happy, Sora. He's with Tao and smiling. He doesn't have to carry our mess anymore. Maybe losing me is the best thing that happened to him. I didn't believe it. Not for a second. I tried keeping my distance, letting Ren live without the ghosts of our past. But I couldn't stay away. I'd show up at the same coffee shop, sitting across the room just to be near him. Take the long route to class, hoping to pass him in the hallway. Listen to Mika and Sora talk about his recovery, hungry for any detail. Torturous, but it was all I had. A month after his discharge, I caught Ren alone in the library. Our old spot, though he didn't know it. Mind if I join you? I slid into the seat across from him. Ren looked up. No recognition, just polite friendliness. Sure. Leon, right? He had to ask. He had to ask my name. Yeah. Recovering okay. Getting there. His smile was directed at a stranger. It's weird. Everyone tells me stories about things I don't remember. Like hearing about someone else's life. Must be hard. It is. But I'm lucky to have good friends. Tao's been amazing. The name was a knife between my ribs. You two seem happy. I am. He replied with a genuine smile. It's only been a few weeks, but he makes me feel safe. Like, even though I can't remember everything, I'll be okay. I used to make you feel safe. You used to show up at my door at 12 a.m. because I was the only one who could quiet your mind. That's good, I said. You deserve that. We studied in silence. I stole glances, memorizing how he chewed his pen while thinking, how he pushed his hair back when frustrated. Can I ask you something? Ren said suddenly. My heart jumped. Sure. The doctors said my memory loss is specific. I remember most people, but there are gaps. And apparently you're one of them. He looked at me directly. Were we close? Before? We were everything. We were friends, I said carefully. Just friends. The question hung between us. I could tell him, right now, everything. But what would that accomplish? He didn't remember loving me. Telling him would just burden him with feelings he didn't have anymore. Yeah, I said finally. Just friends. Something flickered across his face. Disappointment? Then vanished. Okay. I keep having these dreams. Or maybe memories, I don't know. Someone. He trailed off, shaking his head. Never mind. Probably nothing. Dreams. He's dreaming about us. Hope flared painfully and desperately in my chest. If you remember anything, I said carefully, you can talk to me. Anytime. Ren smiled. Thanks, Leon. That's really kind. Kind. He thought I was being kind. I was being selfish. Desperate. Pathetically hoping that maybe, somehow, he'd remember what we were. The weeks crawled by. I watched Ren and Tao become official, watched them kiss goodbye after class. Each moment was agony. I tried to accept it as punishment for being too afraid to love him properly when I had the chance. But late at night, I'd pull out my phone and scroll through old photos. Ren is asleep on my couch. Ren was laughing at something I'd said. A 2 a.m. selfie. Both of us disheveled and happy. Photos he didn't remember taking. A life he didn't remember living. My birthday fell on a Friday, exactly 2 months after the accident. I didn't want to celebrate, didn't want to pretend to be happy when every day felt like drowning. But Sora insisted. You need this, he said firmly. You've been a ghost for a while now. We're going out, you're getting drunk, and you're going to try to be human for one night. So I went. The bar was loud and crowded. Our friends bought drinks and told embarrassing stories. I laughed in the right places, smiled when I was supposed to, played the part of someone, okay. Ren was there with Tao, his arm around his shoulders. Every time I looked at them, it felt like glass in my lungs. Around 11 p.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I left. I walked home in the cold November air, hands shoved in my pockets, trying not to remember what my last birthday had been like. Ren had shown up at midnight with a homemade cake and a gift he'd spent months saving for. We'd stayed up until dawn, talking and laughing and pretending we were just friends. Stop it. Stop torturing yourself. I got home at 11:45 p.m., trudging up the stairs. All I wanted was to get through the next 15 minutes. Let this awful day end. I unlocked my door and froze. Ren was sitting on my couch. How did you? I found the spare key, he said quietly. Hope that's okay. I didn't want to wait in the hallway. My heart hammered. What are you doing here? Ren stood slowly. There was something different in his eyes. Something that made my breath catch. I remembered something, he said. About you. About us. The world stopped. What? My voice was barely a whisper. We used to do this, didn't we? On birthdays. Show up at midnight. Ren took a step closer. I keep having these dreams. Fragments. You and me in the dark. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. And then tonight, watching you at the bar, trying so hard to smile when you looked like you were dying inside. His voice cracked. I don't know why, but something felt wrong. Ren. The clock on my wall struck midnight. Ren stepped forward and pulled me into a hug. The kind we used to share in private when it was just us and we could pretend the rest of the world didn't exist. I wrapped my arms around him, burying my face in his neck, and broke completely. All the fear, all the grief, all the love I'd been holding in came pouring out in sobs that shook my entire body. I missed you, I whispered against his skin. God, Ren, I missed you so much. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please remember. Please come back to me. When I pulled back to look at him, Ren's expression had changed. The softness was gone, replaced by something fierce and angry. You're such an asshole, he said. I blinked. What? A jerk, Leon. A horrible person. No wonder I had amnesia. Maybe my brain was protecting me from remembering how badly you hurt me. The words hit like physical blows. Ren, I know Do you? Ren's voice rose. Because I remember everything now. I remember how you made me feel crazy for wanting more. Like I was asking too much by wanting you to acknowledge what we were. You told me to find someone else. Like I was a toy you were bored with. That's not. And then I wake up in a hospital with no memory of you. And you know what? It was peaceful. For the first time in over a year, I wasn't wondering if I mattered to you. Wasn't lying to everyone about what we were. Wasn't breaking my heart every day trying to be enough for someone who wouldn't even admit they loved me. Each word was a knife and I deserved every cut. I accepted Tao because he was simple, Ren continued, tears streaming down his face. Because he asked me out and called me his boyfriend. Do you know how good that felt? To be claimed? To not be a secret. I know, I said, my voice breaking. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Ren. I was scared and stupid, and I hurt you. But please, what? Forgive you? Forget how you broke my heart? Go back to being your dirty little secret. No! The word came out forcefully. I don't want secrets anymore. I don't want to hide. I want... My voice cracked. I want you, really want you, in daylight, in front of everyone. I want to be brave enough to love you the way you deserve. Ren was crying fully now, and I could see the war playing out on his face. The hurt fighting with love. The anger is battling the hope. Why should I believe you? He whispered. Because I'm saying it now, when you don't need me. You have Tao. You have a whole life without us. You could walk away and be happy. I took a step closer. But I'm still asking. I'm still begging. Leon, I love you, I said clearly. I'm in love with you. I have been since the first time you showed up at my door at 2 a.m., and I realized I'd give you anything. And I'm terrified. So terrified of losing you that I feel sick. The silence stretched between us, heavy with 3 years of history and 2 months of absence. Then Ren was moving, closing the distance, and I didn't know if he was going to hit me or kiss me until his hands grabbed my face and pulled me into a kiss that tasted like tears and forgiveness and coming home. I hate you, Ren gasped against my lips. I hate you so much for putting us through this. I know. I kissed him back desperately, hands tangling in his hair the way they had 100 times before. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm still angry, Ren continued, even as he pressed closer. So angry, Leon. You don't get to just apologize and have everything be okay. I know. I pulled back to look at him. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you let me. Ren's expression was complicated. Hurt and love and anger and hope all tangled together. I need to know why, he said. I need to understand why you were so scared. Because if we're going to try this, really try, I need to know what I'm fighting against. So I told him about my father walking out when I was 7. About watching my mother shatter so completely that for 2 years I thought she might never recover. About the promise I'd made to never let anyone have that kind of power over me. And then you came along, I said, my voice rough. And suddenly I was my mother, completely ruined by someone I couldn't have. So I convinced myself that if I didn't name it, didn't make it real, then when you left, because everyone leaves, it wouldn't destroy me. But it destroyed you anyway, Ren said quietly. Yeah. I laughed bitterly. Turns out you can't logic your way out of love. I gave you that power whether I admitted it or not. Watching you with Tao, seeing you happy without me, it broke me just as much as I was afraid losing you would. Ren was quiet for a long moment. Then, your mother, did she ever recover? Yeah, eventually. She even dated again. Found someone good who made her happy. So she survived it. The worst thing she could imagine. It happened, and she survived. I nodded slowly, seeing where he was going. You were so busy being afraid of ending up like her that you didn't see the full story, Ren said. She didn't just survive. She found love again. She was brave enough to try despite knowing it could hurt. The truth of his words hit me square in the chest. I'd been so focused on my mother's pain that I'd missed her strength, her resilience, her choice to love again. I pulled him close again, resting my forehead against his. You were right. Thank you. I am always right, he said with a soft laugh, and I smiled at that before kissing his forehead. What about Tao? Ren sighed. I need to talk to him, end things properly. He deserves honesty. He's been good to you. He has. But I don't love him, Leon. Every time he kissed me, I kept thinking something felt wrong. Now I know why he wasn't you. I'm sorry I put you in that position. Good. He kissed me again, softer this time. Because I love you too. You idiotic, emotionally constipated disaster of a person. I held him tight, breathing in the familiar scent of his shampoo, feeling the solid weight of him in my arms. Happy birthday, Leon, Ren murmured against my neck. Despite everything, the pain, the fear, the month of hell we'd survived, I smiled. Best birthday ever, I said, and meant it. 2 weeks later, we were back at the same restaurant with our friend group. Ren had ended things with Tao the day after my birthday, gently but honestly. Tao had been hurt but understanding. He'd known something was off, that Ren had always seemed like he was waiting for someone else. He wasn't wrong. For the past 3 weeks, Ren and I had been taking things slow, going on actual dates, to movies, to dinner, to the art museum Ren loved. We'd fallen back into bed together, but it was different now. No sneaking around. No pretending it was casual. We were building something real. Something that existed in daylight. But our friends didn't know yet. Well, except Sora. So when are you going to tell them? Ren had asked me that morning. Today, I promised. At lunch. I'm ready. Now, sitting at the crowded table, I felt the familiar flutter of fear. But I also felt Ren's leg pressed against mine under the table, solid, real, encouraging. I took a breath and reached under the table to find his hand. Laced our fingers together. Then I lifted our joined hands and placed them on top of the table where everyone could see. The laughter died away. Everyone stared. Guys, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Ren and I are dating. There. I said it. Finally, Mika shouted, loud enough that nearby tables turned to stare. Do you know how long we've been waiting for you idiots to figure this out? Wait, you knew? Ren asked, surprised. Everyone knew, Jake said, rolling his eyes but grinning. You two were about as subtle as a brick to the face. We were just waiting for you to stop being ridiculous about it. So you're not weird about it? I asked, and some of my anxiety eased. Relieved? Absolutely, Mika said. Sora added. Watching you two dance around each other for years was exhausting. I'm just glad you finally pulled your heads out of your asses. The table erupted in congratulations and teasing, but I barely heard it. I was too busy looking at Ren, who was smiling at me like I'd just given him the world. Under the table, hidden from view, Ren squeezed my hand 3 times. Our old signal. I love you. I squeezed back. I love you too. Later that night, back at my apartment, Ren and I lay tangled together in bed. The lights were on. The door was unlocked. We had nothing to hide anymore. So, Ren said, tracing lazy patterns on my chest. How does it feel? Being out. Being us. Publicly. I thought about the fear I'd carried for so long. About the month I'd spent watching Ren not remember me. Terrifying, I admitted. But also, right, like this is how it was always supposed to be. No regrets. Only that I didn't do it sooner. I tilted his chin up so I could kiss him. I'm sorry I made us wait so long. You already apologized. Multiple times. You're Forvin. Ren smiled against my lips. But you're going to spend the rest of our relationship making it up to me anyway. The rest of our relationship, I repeated, testing the words. That implies you're planning to keep me around for a while. Well, yeah. I didn't go through all that drama just to dump you after a few months. Ren laughed. You're stuck with me now, Martinez. Hope you can handle it. I think I can manage, I said, pulling him closer. After all, I've been in love with you for 3 years. What's the rest of our lives? Ren's expression softened. The rest of our lives. I like the sound of that. Me too. I kissed the top of his head and held him as his breathing evened out, feeling the steady rise and fall of his chest. This right here, this vulnerability, this dependence, this overwhelming love was what I'd been so afraid of. This was the kind of love that could destroy me if I lost it. And yeah, losing this would destroy me. But having it, choosing it, being brave enough to claim it, that was worth every second of fear. The end. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, tell us your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep daydreaming in BL.